Hey, here we are. Um, have to talk to a deal that is just it's blowing up the trade talk today. Tried to keep it out of the news cycle, but alas, here we are. Um, yeah, I'll let you have a look, digest. These are the full details of the blockbuster between myself, J-Mac in Portland, and Leroy, um, admin extraordinaire and the GM of the New Orleans Pelicans. So. Terms have been agreed to. As you can see, it is a lot exchanging hands. New Orleans will receive Damian Lillard, Dylan Harper, the 2026 Phoenix first round pick, the 2026 Minnesota first round pick that has um, top five protections on it. If it doesn't convey this year, it will turn into Chicago's 2027 first. And they will receive their own first round pick back. So, in addition to the Kings first that they are already sitting on, potentially four lottery picks. Yeah, I think it's a massive haul for the Pels. I think it's what they needed to um, retool, rebuild, but also feel good enough to move someone like Luka. You shouldn't ever treat that guy like a distressed asset. So that was the minimum price that he would go for. I tried to keep the 2026 Phoenix pick out of the talks, but that was a non-negotiable. Harper was a non-negotiable. Um, I didn't want to move Lillard's salary. I think we lost some value there. But I had no other way of aggregating that amount of money to facilitate this. So that's what is heading to New Orleans in week 10. Myself, we receive Luka Doncic, which is super exciting. And we receive Malik Monk, who in his own right is a nice role player, a really good scorer and shooter. Um, so that's the deal. Um, it started, the negotiation started probably about a week ago, and it probably took us 2 days to get to this point. Really fun negotiations between Leroy and myself. I can't attest totally to why he did it. He's able to share that in depth if he wants to, but I think he just wanted to have a new start. Might have hit a bit of a ceiling with his current build with Luca and just wanted to feel some of that creativity and some of that um, redefining your vision instead of feeling a bit trapped by it. So um, I wish New Orleans all the best. I hope all that lottery luck comes their way. I will really miss not having Dylan Harper. I finally made a draft pick. I was so happy with him. I paid up for him. Um, so I'll watch him from afar, but very exciting young player who we will miss. And Dame, he was part of our plans. He was going to be held all year and then be our starting point guard next year. But then someone comes to you and wants to talk Luka Doncic, you have to listen. I don't know if it makes us better long term. Obviously, we're much better now. Dame was going to miss the whole season, so injecting Luka and Malik Monk into the team probably ends this rebuild phase that we were in. I would have loved to have seen it out for another year and yielded maximum value from the 2026 draft, but you just, I don't know, if you have any aspirations to win and to win it all, you kind of have to just say yes when you kind of are asked about a player of Doncic's caliber. Um, but it took 2 days, so we went back and forward. I've never loved Luca in 2K. I haven't watched him much um, any seasons. His teams do well, but he seems to lack that kind of 2K edge. Maybe it's just an athleticism factor. Um, yeah, it just seems to lack that edge. So I spoke to Leroy about that. And I'm hoping it comes down to not having the maximized structure around him. So that's going to be our goal now to create a team that uh, maximizes Luca, allows him to be really high usage. So team players who can play great defense off the ball, hit a three-point shot, set screens, rebound, all of that. We're going to try a prototypical Luca build, see how we go. Um, that is what we're going to try and do. But my hang up was Luka not being elite enough in 2K for him to be the best player on a team. Like way off Wemby's impact, way off Giannis's impact. I still don't think he has the guard impact that even Dame has. Like, I honestly think Dame could give you, the GM, the same impact as Luka does at the moment. That's what it appears like. He hasn't been supercharged, or our settings don't allow him to be supercharged. But I think it's similar to Jokic. He suffers from um, that ratio being off in 2K from real life ability because there's just these magical things they do based on game IQ, offensive IQ that just doesn't translate into that binary ones and zeros that a video games run on. But once again, you get off of this person. If it doesn't destroy your team getting him, I think you just have to grab him and try. And then add in that he's just so incredibly fun to watch in real life. It becomes like a really fun asset to have on your team. So that's it. So Luca is heading to Portland. Malik Monk is heading to Portland. As I said, the Pelicans will receive Damian Lillard, um, Dylan Harper, 2026 Phoenix first round pick, 2026 Minnesota first round pick, and the New Orleans pick, which made us incredibly suited as trade partners because if he's to make this deal, it worsens his first round pick. So when it is swapped in the exchange, I benefit from the value of having that pick, but Leroy benefits from the value of that pick's value increasing as the team's record and performances regress. Um, so that is our team for now. I've got some other moves that are cooking in the background, which will hopefully drop week 9. So I think in a perfect world we wouldn't have moved Dame, but these aggregation restrictions just I don't think they were going to allow for it any other way. So tried to strike while the iron was hot, and this is what we're left with. So I think Dylan Harper will be given the keys in New Orleans, which will be really exciting. He's already putting up what 22, 5 and 5 for me, starting point guard. So I think he's got more 2K juice than Luka does, to be honest. I'm not saying they're anywhere near the player. Luka's 97 now, so I'd really hope a 97 overall rated guy can dominate games and can get a team to a conference finals series. So I'm not saying that's this year. I don't. We're starting it pretty far back, but we will see how it goes. But yeah, Luke is in. Malik Monk, I think we'll probably have to flip him somewhere else because it just doesn't quite fit. Um, Maybe we've already flipped him. Uh, so that it cuts our draft hand in half. Um, they picked the best picks out, but it makes perfect sense. And if that's what Leroy says, he has to have minimum in order to accept the deal. Then he has all the leverage. He has the star. He has the best asset that he wants to move. So I have to try and adhere to that, which was tough because I'd created this team with Dame sitting out all year. My young guys were just going to play a lot. We weren't going to win a lot of games because of all that inexperience, and it would yield the maximum value of the 2026 draft pick of ours and our draft hand in general. So not only um, did we lose the picks in the deal, that monopoly of the picks, but our pick will get worse. So that's a little unseen value that unavoidable when you make deals like this. But I think it's super exciting. So hold on, let me see if I got um, get out of this screen. Hold on, how do I get out of here? Right, open up. Here we go. Here we go. Cool. Okay. So as the roster is currently constructed, what you would see, point guard, Luka Doncic. Yep. You think he would plug in there? I think that would be fair enough. Shooting guard. Oops. shooting guard. We have Alex Caruso coming over for Andrew Nemhard and a second round pick in week 9. So that is an incredible fit. So um, that's been very fortuitous. Obviously, Caruso's been locked in for about 4 weeks. So the fact that we've ended up having that pairing is really nice. Our boy Cooper Flag is locked in at small forward. Power forward at the moment, probably Lisa Shea, but we might have to flip him now for a power forward. Gafford, Daniel Gafford. So that fits really nicely with Luka. Perfect center pairing. So that's also fortuitous. Another reason, yeah, to maximize Gafford and Luka's pairing. The bench, we still have Brandon Miller. We still have Anthony Black. Isaiah Jackson is the backup center. Uh, Dwight Powell, probably the backup power forward now. And who am I missing? Another guard, maybe? Marcus Sasser? Yeah, something like that. Um, I know Sasser is spoken for. He's going to Phoenix for Kyle Lowry in a second. So Kyle Lowry jumps in there. Yeah, so that's what the team will look like. So I mean, I think that it's probably too immature to be a great team, but I think the fit is quite nice. Luca, Caruso, Flag, Risa Shea, Gafford, Miller, Black, Isaiah Jackson, Dwight Powell, and Kyle Lowry as our team. Um, oh no, Malik Monk. Where we go. Yeah, perfect. So instead of Kyle Lowry, yeah, that's a fun bench. Malik Monk, nice. So I mean, Luke at the moment, um, so is a bit of a chucker. I think he's taking 16 threes per game, scoring a lot of points. 37 points per game. I think it's like 46% field goal, which is fine. Um, on this team, he's still going to shoot a lot of shots. These guys aren't going to demand a lot of usage from him. Um, so it's just going to be about finding the right playbook to maximize his efficiency. From what I've seen in the last few sims, trying to evaluate whether or not to do this deal, like he takes some outlandish deep threes, step backs, which just don't go in this year. A few years ago they did. However, the dice rolled with the 2K settings or the settings we created for the league. They just don't go in. Like he's shooting probably 30% from three, and on 16 shots, that's not good. So try and get him in some pick and roll with Gafford. That'd be awesome. Um, yeah, Zach Risa Shea, spot up, Cut, Caruso, Cut. So at least we've got some defensive help um for to support Doncic. Um, so there we go. So just to conclude, uh, the blockbuster that we've all been worrying about. Um, these are the terms. Leroy and I are both satisfied. We've been talking about this for a week. Leroy couldn't help himself and contain his excitement, so he's been dropping little cryptic hints everywhere. And this is the return. So the Pels will get Damian Lillard, Dylan Harper, the Phoenix Suns first rounder, the Minnesota Timberwolves first rounder, and their own first rounder back. And the Blazers will receive Luka Doncic and Malik Monk. Okay, thank you very much. I forgot to say hello and hope everybody is well. The NSL community just keeps rocking. Week 9 is going to be big for um, very, very big for trades going down. So let's see. Can't wait to see all the action. Thanks for watching. Go Blazers.